One of the greatest responsibilities that I have is to manage my assets wisely so they can create value. Alice Walton. Here's a great quote by Jeff Bezos. Determine what your customers need and work backwards. Hey, this is Jay Rose with Total Dealer Training. And today we're going to talk about the differences between retail and buy here, pay here as related to inventory. Now, there's a few different factors involving your success with inventory, and some of you out there may be a combination of the two. When I say retail, just a reminder, this is where you have outside finance companies, whether it's cash or outside finance companies, even if they're subprime. Maybe similar customers, but it's a different process and mindset versus true just buy here, pay here. This is where you're working or living with the customer for the next 3 years. So not just the mindset's different, but here's some specific differences between the two. Number one, acquisition. When you're in a retail store, you want to acquire vehicles that you know have a high demand in your area, number one. Number two, you also have to make sure that depending on your outside lending sources or subprime sources, what is their loan to value or their lending requirements, and sometimes they're higher on certain makes. So certainly keep that in mind, not just whether someone wants to buy a car, but also the loan to value advance rate on those particular vehicles with retail. With buy here, pay here, actually it really doesn't matter. It's important to have certain makes or models that customers want, but what you pay for them always has to be the same. You still want desirable vehicles if you have the cash for it, the money, trucks, large SUVs, most popular, also small SUVs, and then sedans or just traditional smaller cars are the least desirable. Well, I shouldn't say that. Minivans would be the least desirable, but there's still a niche market for those. So it's a little bit different mindset. You have to go into it with acquiring vehicles that you know you can get approved, what the advance rate is, and back into what you have to pay for those. Same thing with your cash, depending on your cash model, what your AC needs to be for your cash and deal, which is minus your, as far as your goal, minus your down payment average when you purchase vehicles. So just remembering sometimes it's more make driven, especially if you're a new car store or you are trying to target certain makes versus it's more dollar driven in buy here, pay here. Another difference is marketing. When you're marketing your vehicles, looking at different sources. With retail, it's very common to use companies like TrueCar, OfferUp, or say Auto Trader, Cars.com. These are websites that are predominantly for retail-minded customers looking for price, and it's really important that you have to put a price on there if you want to be competitive. If you're not on the first page of any of these sites, you're going to be overlooked. It's just a fact. And why spend money advertising if you're on page 3 or 4 where they're never even going to get you? Same thing with mileage. Price and mileage are really important. Making sure you list every single feature on the vehicle in your descriptions for a retail advertisement. Whether you're posting on social media or advertising on any of these type of sites as I mentioned. But the key is it's focusing on 70 to 80% of that ad should be all about the car and the features and the differences and so forth. Now in buy here, pay here, it's completely backwards. You should not be advertising price ever, or if you do have mileage, again, I wouldn't put mileage unless it's a super low mileage. Get them to call you or text you or chat you for that information. Otherwise, you're just going to be advertising and giving them a reason never to contact you, which makes no sense because you won't get any leads, especially where nowadays, because after the pandemic and the price increases, it's not uncommon to have 150 to 200,000 mile vehicles, which customers may be scared about if they just see it, versus if you explain how it's still a great vehicle, if by getting them on the phone, then you at least have a chance to convert them into the right customer that shows up. But you're not creating the objection by giving that high mileage or the price on your advertisement or your posting. Making sure that if you're gonna post a description, don't post like retail. Don't put all the VIN exploder information about, everything about the car itself. It should be copy paste, copy paste. And in our online training, TDT online training, we have examples of this, how to do this. It's all about your finance program and the value of that, and it's copy pasted. It's nothing about the car. In fact, 90% other than one picture of your vehicle, everything should be about the finance program. When others say no, we say yes, bad credit, no credit. If you're gonna put a financial, anything in there, it should be just down payment only. And then call for more information. That's if you wanna hook any customers and get them to actually contact you. So just some tips that are really important regarding pictures, descriptions, where you're advertising. Obviously, whether it's in Facebook Marketplace, whether it's on OfferUp or other type of social media, Instagram, you need to make sure that you track that information to find out which are getting you better leads and which ones you're closing and so forth. So marketing is really important. Now, merchandising, again, slightly different. Buy here, pay here. You want to make sure that you're only merchandising all your trucks and SUVs up by whatever you have for road frontage. Put all your cars in the back. Don't put all your small vehicles up on the front line. People want to see the attractive vehicles. And then there's the little things, just like on a retail store, say a new car store that's doing used cars. They want to put all the non-make new car make up front, because everyone knows if you're a Toyota store, you're going to have used Toyotas. So don't use up that precious space on the road frontage with used Toyotas. Put your non-Toyota vehicles up there. If you're just used cars, then again, you can sprinkle them, make sure they look attractive. If you don't have that many, spread them out to fill up the space. You never want to have so few cars where it looks like you're going broke, even though it may be because you're delivering more vehicles than you can actually recondition. I certainly understand what that's like, helping dealers get better at that. So looking at merchandising, the differences, there are differences between the two. You're focused on the program itself, not putting anything on the cars like a VIN exploder, like you would on a retail. If you're gonna put something on the cars other than a used car buyer's guide, make sure it's about the finance program, not about that specific vehicle itself. If you're looking to increase sales, lower your repossessions, and increase your profits this year, look no further than collateral protection from CP Insurance Associates. They were the #1 and first collateral protection approved in Texas. And I have them in my dealerships and I see the results. So if you want the best in service, in claims payments, and also making sure that you increase your profitability to help you sell more cars, give Bill Murphy a call, the number below. Another thing is security. Security systems for vehicles, GPS, starter interrupts, things like that. Normally in a retail store, those are things that are sold after the purchase by the finance department, then they put them in before they take delivery. It's very common, it's, if not 100%, all buy here, pay here dealers, they will front load the GPS before they finish going through reconditioning, before they come up front. That way you can always make sure that you ping the cars if your customers are test driving without a salesperson in the vehicle, and you know where that car is at all times. Now, because of that, there's a difference between maintaining the vehicles in your frontline inventory with buy here, pay here versus retail. With retail, if you don't have any security devices in it, which has a draw on the battery or whatnot, maybe you start the vehicles once a week. That's good enough by your porter. But with buy here, pay here, you should be doing this, if not daily. You want to start them at least 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Whether you wash your cars, about the same on retail and buy here, pay here. Try to do that at least once a week, twice if possible, depending on how dirty your vehicles get by the drive-by traffic in your area. A lot of that is environment driven. But important is make sure you start your vehicles, let them run. #1, you're going to be checking for any check engine lights, make sure the air conditioning works. And remember, In buy here, pay here inventory, these vehicles could be 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. It is not a new vehicle. It's not a 3-year-old vehicle that's off lease, or a 2-year-old vehicle that we bought from a rental car agency that's under warranty. In buy here, pay here, our vehicles may be good yesterday. They may have come perfectly certified out of our master technician 2 weeks ago. This car may not start today, and that's why you need to prepare for that. Whether it's starting your vehicles every morning or every other, noticing any issues with the vehicles and getting those repaired promptly and properly. The other thing too is in your process, in our TDT process, always go out with 2 keys when you go to get a vehicle for a customer, which they should be inside, and you should not be walking customers out to a vehicle for the first time. In case it doesn't start, you have a second backup key to go grab the other car, pull it around while they're filling out their references with their head down. They don't see you, jump starting a car, making up for the problems with the vehicle that's developed since the last time. And you back it in, open all the doors, hood and trunk. We have more details and other videos on how to do a proper walk around and butterfly display the vehicle. But the important thing is, when it comes to the actual, getting the vehicle, is always prepare for something happening with the vehicle. That's why you always want to grab 2 keys, not just one. Then when you actually do the actual walk around, similar to the marketing or merchandising, it is not about the feature, advantage, benefit of that particular vehicle. It's all about the finance program as you're walking around the car, reminding them that this isn't their perfect vehicle choice. We understand, but it's going to fit their affordability and basic needs of whether it's a sedan, hatchback, or crossover. It's not about getting the perfect make, model, miles, color, equipment like a traditional retail store like you would at CarMax or Carvana. It's all about the buy here, pay here finance program that in 3 years, not 8 years like retail, in 3 years you're going to get a title, get it paid off, and get back on track. So this is you're going to compromise, so here's the best option available that you can afford and it fits your basic needs. So that's where the walk around explanation on the inventory is completely different than retail. And then of course reconditioning is another important factor. Not only how much you put in the car, but what you actually do. When I'm working with retail used car dealers, it's really important to make sure the outside cosmetics of the car look shiny, free of dents, look really nice, and that really appeals to the customer. The mechanical, as long as it pays, as far as it's checked out on safety-wise, as soon as they go over the curb, and you just have to make sure the car lasts through your dealer warranty, which could be 3 months, 6 months, or maybe a year. Usually retail stores sell a service contract, additional mechanical breakdown protection against that, but that's not coming out of the dealer's pocket. So the goal of a retail dealer is making sure that the car is mechanically sound at least until your dealer warranty, which is for free, the dealer's paying for it, is expired. And buy here, pay here, it's completely different. You live with this customer for the next 3 years. Cosmetically, you shouldn't care whether it's dings, dents, scratches, and whatever. Heck, their credit has more dings, dents, and scratches in it. What's important to our customers in buy here, pay here is that this vehicle will get them back and forth to work for the next 3 years. Is it the dream vehicle? Absolutely not. But you need to make sure the engine, the transmission, and the air conditioning, especially in Texas, works. Otherwise, it's a non-starter. They're not going to pay for the car, which is how we make our money, if those things don't work. So, in other videos we talk about the customer repair process, but in reconditioning, it's critical to make sure that engine, transmission, AC works. Everything else doesn't matter compared to the reconditioning of a retail car, which is the outside needs to look good. So all these little differences make a difference between whether you're retail or buy here, pay here. If you have any specific questions, definitely give me a call at the number below. And if you like this video, definitely forward it to somebody else that you think it may help, and we'll see you in the next chapter. Total Dealer Training trains and coaches dealership personnel through online, in-dealership, and live workshops. We educate, motivate, and develop the skills of your team to improve results while allowing them to be the best possible versions of themselves. If you want more information about our services, visit our totaldealertraining.com website, or you can call me directly at 904-955-7666. We can customize a training solution that'll meet your dealership needs. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, or comment so you can be notified when future videos are released.